All right, guys, I'm in the Green Tunnel back on the Appomattox River, and it's mid-80s today, and I'm in the afternoon trying to get some miles in. So let's see how many miles we can push and see if we can stumble across anything we hadn't seen before. Stay tuned. Not a lot of view, but it's very, very peaceful. All right, real quick, you can see that right there. That is a concrete embankment for the beginning of a bridge that crossed the Appomattox River. Cool story on that is that a good friend of mine's great-grandmother remembered as kids running around in the little town of Matoaca when people would drive across that wooden bridge. The kids would get all excited because somebody was coming to town, and they'd all run to River Road in Ferndale to see who was coming to town. Well, today I found the other end of it. I'm actually standing on it. This thing has fallen down over the years. You got a tree growing out of it. And if you look close, a lot of this is part of the concrete stuff that busted up and still laying there. I'm gonna guess the 20s. I don't know. There's more of it there. That's all the concrete pilings. Pretty cool find. I never even thought to look in on this end to see what was here. All right, definitely worked up a sweat. I have hiked at least to the power plant and come back and hit in and out the trails right on the water and the ones that go up the hill towards the canal, getting a good workout. I've come back, I've crossed over Ferndale Road, and now I'm hiking on the river side trails on this side to see how far up they go. Generally when I hike on this side, I just stay on the canal trail. So this will be the first time I've been on this, so we'll see if we can find it. Got a bunch of geese out there just chilling. They're just below the rock garden area. Hopefully I can get a spot where I can see the rock garden show you. All right, here's part of the rock garden. You really can't see the beauty of it from this angle. You really need to be out in the middle of it to see it. Yeah, here's a much better view. Slow moving water. Very, very peaceful. You're looking close. We got a crane way over there. Looking for supper. Now let me get close. Found me a fellow traveler, box turtle. All right, this is pretty cool. Nice cliff. You don't see many cliffs in Dinwiddie County. Above that is the canal. Well, deep in here, found a little fireplace and sleeping bags. So where people have camped here, and unfortunately, no respect for the land, have just left trash everywhere. Very discouraging for humanity. I would love to know how that got here. There's a power line way up that way, but that thing's too heavy. No clue. Now this is nice. It goes back in the woods, and you got some big woods. Most of that hiking you're walking through poison ivy, poison oak, really, really tight area. This is wide open. Let's see how far this lasts. All right, a few things to show you here. If you look closely, there's a wall there, and that's the beginning of the canal that used to feed the mills on the Matoaca side of the river up near Ferndale. And that looks like a park bench. And a second one. I have no idea. I'm assuming that's private property and somebody's put that down there, because I don't know of any parks in the area. But check out this. I got a picture of Dylan on top of that last time. Well, the time before last when we were hiking. The last time we were hiking down here, Dylan went to get off of it and there was a cottonmouth on it. So we opted not to do that day. Beautiful down here. All right, so hiking from Ferndale Park up towards the abutment dam on the river, the path does not go all the way. I've been aimlessly strolling the edge of the river. for quite a while now. Very peaceful in here. You cannot get lost. That's impossible. You got the canal on one side, the river on the other. You walk one direction, you'll hit the Ferndale Bridge. You walk the other direction, you'll hit the broken down abutment dam, which you cannot miss. All right, this is interesting. I don't see any signs of anybody camping here. Okay. That's a beaver. That makes sense why there's an opening here. I don't know what a beaver thinks he's going to do on this Appomattox River. There's no way he's going to dam it up. Well, the trail that I told you that I picked back up was not a hiking trail. It was a game trail. And we've basically run into a rock wall all the way down to the water. I'm not going to attempt to climb over top of these big boulders and have one roll over on me. So I'm going to see if I can hike straight up and get over to the canal. Well, that was easy enough. Since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and hike up to the abutment dam, and then I'll hike back down the canal trail. Yeah, the trail pretty much turned into this once it got past that rock slide. No trails there, but it was an easy hike back up to the canal trail. I will definitely do that again in the wintertime where I can see better. Get some better videos and pictures across the river too. All right, this is on the canal just below the abutment dam, and that's an overflow. And I honestly don't know whether it's to control the water going down the canal, or if it's because this is in a curve, it's a way to keep the canal from washing out. I'm leaning towards the latter, but that's pretty cool. I'm going to guess that was done back in the 1800s as well. This is below the abutment dam. That's the actual dam. All right, this is on top of the abutment dam. That's below the dam. And this is above it. But as you can see, the water's way down because the dam has failed years ago. I remember coming down here when water was probably 3 to 4 foot coming over top of this dam. I just can't fathom that much power. I normally would walk out to where the dam broke, but there's a guy fishing out there and I just don't want to disturb him. He'd have to move out the way to let me cross him out. I'll let him have his piece. I'm going to come back up here at the picnic table and get me something out to eat and to drink. I need some Gatorade or something. A lot of sweat. Something real simple. I'm going to heat up some water and do some oatmeal. And then I'm going to dump it and I'm going to pour water back in the cup and then use it for my Gatorade to get my electrolytes and some carbs. Stay tuned. It's a better view of the spillway. This is the direction the water would be coming when it goes into that turn. So I'm sure that's built there to save the canal from being washed out. All right, tell me if this is a little freaky. I believe that's Chucky. He doesn't look very good. All right, we're finishing up the hike. Looked at GPS and I'm just at 11 miles. I hiked from Ferndale Park as far as you can go in Petersburg, hiked back, went as far as I could go on the river up towards the abutment dam, then came up to the canal, hiked the canal to the abutment dam, and now I'm coming back down the canal back to the truck. That was a good day. My foot's holding up fine, so we'll be ready for the AT before you know it.